This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by what, Greg?
Video Blocks!
Video Blocks, my favorite stock footage website. We've talked about it many times. Use it, Kind of Funny Live 1 and Kind of Funny Live 2. Will I use it for Kind of Funny Live 3? The answer is yes. You can go there 100% royalty free even after your subscription comes to an end. So it's a subscription-based thing. You go in, you get unlimited, get whatever you want. There's also audioblocks.com.
Do me a favor and shut up. Guess what, everybody? I used Video Blocks in the Vita relocation program.
You did.
You think I filmed a family at the beach? I didn't.
Funniest moment of the video.
Thank you.
It was great.
Wait, hold
it was
on.
fantastic.
I was in that video.
Video Blocks is offering you all a year subscription to both Video Blocks and Audio Blocks for only $149. This is a $100 discount off the usual price tag for our followers only. An incredible discounted deal to get both stock video and audio. Get your subscription today for only $149 at videoblocks.com/Gamescast 2016.
I can't see it all.
That's videoblocks/Gamescast 2016 for this discounted
You're not
offer.
making it better. You're making it worse. See, my head's blocked now. Video Blocks. Can we make them stock footage? We should make them some stock footage.
Of what? What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 98 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller.
1998 was a good year.
It was a good year.
We don't talk enough about
98 Degrees, good boy band.
Yeah, also true. Yeah.
98, quite possibly the best year in video games. I think it is the best year in video games.
Really?
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear Solid, Zelda,
Yeah.
Half-Life.
That was the best fall, right? I remember somebody putting out an
Pokemon.
article about that, or maybe in the best month.
It's November. Best November.
Yeah, best November.
November
Best
98.
November. Even better than when the Pilgrims originally had the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Overrated.
Yeah, all they had
Definitely.
was maize.
And then bring all them turkeys and shit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants turkey.
There were no lobsters.
Where the,
Yeah, there were.
there
No
was
lobsters.
Yeah.
They brought
Impossible.
lobsters?
The Indians were eating lobsters, yeah. Out of
We
the
should have done that.
Atlantic Ocean.
I would have been way more down with Thanksgiving if they're like, you get lobster. But
Agreed.
instead, I get fucking turkey and bullshit purple stuff in a
First
can.
off, don't fucking insult the cranberries. You know that I'm not a big. I'm not going to go to defend the Thanksgiving holiday. I will defend cranberries out of a can until the day I die.
No.
Thank you, Kevin. This is one of our bonding things for Thanksgiving this year.
It's upsetting.
I'm
That
gonna
stuff's
dab now.
no-go. That might be one of my favorite things you've done.
Thank you.
Ever.
I try
Not
to
even
make you
just this
happy.
year.
I try to
ever.
make you happy.
So here's the deal with the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As you know, rigmarole, we talk about video games, all things we love about them, all the things we don't like about them, all that stuff every week, right? Since this is episode 98, that means we got some big things coming. We're also going to be pre-recording a lot of episodes because we're doing the rest of the year. So we have things planned out. Next week, 99, it's just going to be a normal episode. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic, leave your questions. We'll do them in the fourth topic just like we always do. But then the next week is episode 100.
Woo!
Which means we're going to be doing the Kind of Funny top 100 games of all time,
Right.
where we're just going to sit and all four topics are going to be just discussing.
And from what I understand, we're going to turn the wall white, and I'm going to come up with a magic marker.
Mm-hmm.
And just write the games on them like this as we go.
You're just going to write Pata, Pawn
100 times.
100 times, and then we'll be good.
Mike! That's you. That's what you sound like.
Mike ain't here.
Do you think I was going to
motherfucker.
make a good point back here? I was just making a visual gag. I wanted you to yell at me about touching the wall. You didn't even do that. So you about the mic. Your priorities are all fucked up, Kevin. Just because you got a really good sweatshirt, you think you can talk shit to me.
It's okay. It's an okay.
I like that one. That burgundy one. It's
You
looking
know
good.
not to touch the wall. I don't have to tell you. You know.
Yeah, but I thought you'd play it
You
up.
know.
Ham it up, as they say.
Then episode 101 is going to be our Game of the Year episode. A lot of people have been asking when we're going to do it. That'll be the last episode that goes live for Patreon users over at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames in 2016.
Gotcha.
The first one going live.
I was like, I
on
didn't know we were ending
youtube.com.
patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me.
First one on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames in 2017. You can go support us there, just like our boy Steven Insler did for the 17,000th month in a row.
Whoa, 17,000. Wow.
Yeah, he's doing real good things.
He is doing real
Thank
good
you,
things.
Steven Insler.
He's the
You're
homie.
the man, the homie, as they would say. They being I.
Yeah, you say that, but I'm
Yes,
trying to take it.
Yes, I appreciate it.
It's a good. It's a good term. I like calling people the homie.
I like something you did recently.
Thank you. What was that?
The Vita relocation video.
Oh, Vita relocation program.
Yeah, it's not getting enough love. I feel like this one should
We should re-promote it.
blow up
Whoa.
a bit. You know,
It did really well that first time.
I know, but it could do better. You should go youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Check out the Vita relocation program. I put it in the best of Kind of Funny Games thing, so you'll be able to see it if you go there. Funny video.
Jokes on him. I put it in that playlist the first day.
Joke's on him. He doesn't understand how that playlist works, so when you put it in there, he doesn't manually sort it. So
Fuck, it was a manually sorted list. God damn it.
So I went in and I went to add it, and it said, "Oh, it's already added." I'm like, great, and it was in the back, but whatever. I'll put it in the front.
He got this round, Colin.
I did get this round.
We'll get the next one now.
Yes.
And your hand.
So PSX just happened.
Yeah.
Game Awards just happened.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking a lot this episode about those things.
Okay.
We were at PSX before we get into topic 1, which is the Last Guardian review. What'd you guys see and play at PSX?
I played Resident Evil 7 on VR. I liked it. It gave me the tummy rumbles, as I keep saying. They have multiple. It's going to be a game that you're going to have to ease into with VR, I think, and figure out what the comfort zone is and how long you can play. Because what I played makes me want to sit down and play more of it, obviously. And it feels like a good horror movie. It made me jump at one point when the mannequin fell down. Now I got the bad ending, but I'm getting off track. You can go play this on PSN. But try even the different control schemes, right? Because there's the one where you have it and you can just free look and you use the stick to actually move your orientation, but you can look around however you want to. And then they had, I've forgotten the name now. I think it's called Smooth. Yeah, Smooth playthrough, where you have it where you click over by degrees and you like rotate like a clock, or you know what I mean, like at your own will. But I mean, like on that, you're just moving by certain degrees rather than the continual motion. I was saying that I was a little bit sick off of just the free motion, whatever. I talked about smooth controls during the PSX panel, and kids have hit me up since then to say I should try, dialing it from 30 degrees to 70 degrees to all these different ways, and that might do it. So it's going to be one to sit down and fuck around with. I take back my words. I think it's going to get delayed. It seems like it's very far along. They seem confident in it. I do think it's going to be interesting to see how it does. I think people are going to be super stoked about it, put it on and get sick, and then, how long can I play it? What do I do? Start playing it in just regular first person as a regular video game with the controller. I don't know how scary it'll be that way, but I guess PT we all loved it that way, so it won't be. I'm just worried that people are going to get it in their head that this is a full-fledged 8-hour horror VR game, and then they're going to get it and it's going to be harder to do that, and that's going to blow up in their face. Also did the Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront.
As did I.
X-Wing demo. Awesome.
We didn't get the whole thing, though. It was half of it.
Sure.
It
awesome
comes
stuff,
out today as the time we're recording this, so we haven't done the full one yet. But the first half.
Radical, right?
A-okay.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was just the little Easter egg stuff.
Yeah.
Hitting the buttons and having the little target thing come out.
Yeah.
That was
my. I talked about it, I think, on the panel, right, where I got getting into the X-wing and turning around and seeing the R2 unit back there. I'm like, that's fucking dope, and it was talking to me and chipping around.
But I mean, it's just obviously VR. We've talked about it so many times being this amazing immersive thing, but it takes stuff like Star Wars to really up the ante.
Sure.
And like that's why I think the Batman experience is so good, is because it's stuff that you're so familiar with that experiencing it just feels right, and it's like, oh shit, I never thought I'd feel this in this thing that I know and love so much. Like there's like the Shark Tank or whatever the hell experience and things like that. They're cool, but I think that the Star Wars stuff, having the Star Wars music and TIE fighters zipping around and the big destroyer coming over you, it's like
that was an awesome moment.
The sense of scale and stuff, it really does feel like you're in the movies, and it's kind of a weird thing where it's a game, but it's also an experience, so it's still in that halfway.
And that's the thing about it, even from the little bit we played, right? It was the fact that it is not on rails, but it was, all right, cool, I'm flying. All right, now we're in combat, and I'm no longer moving this. I'm just aiming, and I can move in 360 degrees, right? Or maybe just 180 over ass over nose kind of thing. But for sure, I see TIE fighters coming and I'm fighting them. But then the destroyer comes in, I look up at that, and like, it wasn't even. I don't mind that. Again, here we go. Wave 1 of VR. How does this all apply? This seems like a great application. It was fun. Like you're saying, like even me not being a Star Wars nerd, reaching over and hitting the button and having the little targeting reticle pop out and have it right there. I was like, that's awesome. That's really cool. My
thing is, I liked it a lot more than my time with Eve Valkyrie, because Eve Valkyrie, it missed that level of, it's Star Wars, right? It just like, it was like, all right, cool. The initial experience of it's super awesome, but then you're out there flying in space and it's kind of like, all right, cool. This game is simple enough that I'm like, shooting a couple things is fun, but it's missing that like up in the ante and the hook.
Right.
But the Star Wars thing, it's more an experience than a game, which I think serves it well.
Sure. Yeah. No, I do too. But it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Where do we go from here? And like similar to that, not that this would happen with the Eve creators, CCP, right?
Yes.
The fact that what happens when, all right, cool, you're a developer, you've made this cool VR experience similar to like your Insomniac, and you made Sunset Overdrive, and that was cool. What happens when Insomniac gets Spider-Man? What happens when a developer like CCP, who makes a game that's flying like that, gets okay, cool, now just go make the only VR X-wing fighter pilot game that,
The actual game, not
exactly,
just a
exactly, not the
30-minute experience or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You play anything else?
Those were my appointments, I think. Remember, we were really only there Saturday, and it was to do the panel and do the other thing and run around and make appearances and stuff. So I think that's what I played. I played a lot on the plane. Played a lot of Lara Croft Go. Disclaimer: Jen works on the game or whatever. I like it. Load times suck on Vita. They're awesome on PS4. It'll be my next platinum. Jumped into Neon Chrome on Vita. Similar thing. Load times are garbage. The worlds themselves are kind of bland. Like it almost looks like you're waiting for the textures to pop in, and they don't. But the gameplay itself, twin stick shooter, roguelike twin stick shooter, is actually fun. You're in these worlds, and you're going up this like ladder of different levels to get to like the boss guy, and there's mini bosses and stuff like that. But it was cool to go through, collect, get more powerful, keep coming back, have different bonuses based on who you are. You die, you come back. You have which character you want to come back as. I want to come back as a hacker, so now I have access to different rooms. All the rooms are procedural generated. Seems like even with the bad load times, a game I'll put more time into on Vita and have fun there. Those were played a shit ton of Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 4 I played a whole bunch of. It was actually, we had done the Gamescast on Final Fantasy. We'd gotten Last Guardian. That timeline screwed up, but came home, I played more Final Fantasy, and was like, okay, cool. I'm already feeling like this isn't what I'm gonna want. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I dressed the characters in their normal outfits, and then I was like, man, now they just like 28-year-old men trying to act like they're 16, with the exception of Iggy, who looks like he is 36 and sounds like he's 42. And that's the whole thing of just like, you're breaking the game and the world for me. Still love the combat, but it's not enough, I don't think, to make me keep coming back. So I was like, I'm not going to force it. I'll put down, maybe I'll want to come back to my own. Put in Last Guardian when I got Last Guardian, which we're about to talk to, so I won't talk about that yet. And then when I discovered, no, I don't like Last Guardian, I popped in Dead Rising 4. And Dead Rising 4 is, I keep calling it video game junk food. It is empty calories that are really fun to consume. I played it. We had that Friday off. I think I started a Thursday night and then played all day Friday, or played all day Friday and played a little bit Saturday. I forget what the actual rundown was. But just sat there, played. I think I'm level 30 something as Frank right now. And this, I think it goes up to 65. It's fun, but it's one of those that I put it down and went and did PSX, and I came back and I started playing Vita games, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep playing these. Like Dead Rising's great. I don't think I'll ever get back to it. It's bloody. It's not hard. Dead Rising was always hard before that. Original Dead Rising, you run into these maniacs, these people. You have to actually worry. You have to work up to being awesome. Whereas this, when you start off and you already feel super powerful. Let alone when you start really getting, you're putting in your skill points to, all right, I'm getting more critical hits. I'm doing this. My blunt weapons are gonna last longer. I haven't died once in the game yet, and I've been playing for quite a while, which is weird for a Dead Rising game. But again, it's enjoyable. I think this is one of those shitty things about me, I guess, and who I am in the metagame that are video games now. If this was on PlayStation, I would keep playing it to go for the platinum. Whereas since I don't care about achievements, I'm like, oh, this is similar to a Ubisoft game where there's so much to do. There's so many boxes to check. I can see where my progression should go. I want to get all the different outfits and find all the different collectibles. But since there's no reward, since I'm already so powerful and there's nothing driving me forward to that, and the story is just the B-movie Dead Rising story it always is, I feel like I can walk away from this and feel fine with it, and then jump back into the roguelike, the Neon Chrome or this, that, or the other. Go back like I want to, and try to put more time into Volume or Ratchet and Clank or anything, let alone start Dishonored. And so I think that's where I am with that one. Like Dead Rising 4 a lot. Could take it or leave it, kind of, though. You know what I mean? Now that's out of the zeitgeist for me.
Colin.
I didn't see anything at PSX. I was on a people finding mission, so I went and saw some friends. I went and saw Housemarque, and
I did play that game.
Next Machina.
Yeah.
Awesome. I went and saw them behind closed doors, and then someone was capturing, so I wasn't able to play it. I didn't want to kick anyone off the machine, and then I went and saw them again because I hadn't seen a couple of them that I wanted to see from the team at their booth, and there was a serpentine line kind of snaking out from it, and they were like, "You want to play?" And I thought it was rude for me to just be like, "Yeah." Cut the line. So I didn't want to be that guy. So I just said hello to them, and I went and saw our friend Dan Edelman. He's working on Chasm, and he's working on Mages of Australia, which both look amazing. And saw our buddy Sean Norton, talked to him for like an hour. He's working on Dreadnought. So I went and saw people. I feel bad, but I got a few invites for different things, especially VR games. But I just am not putting those VR units on that other people are using. I just can't get over that anymore now that I've thought about it the last 18 months. I was fine until I thought about it.
Should have brought your own.
Yeah, that would
Just
be
walk
funny.
around with it on your head. You're like, just jack me into the Matrix.
So no, I didn't go hands on with anything. But there was a few games there that I think look really fantastic. I think Chasm looks stellar, and Nex Machina looks really
Nex
really
Machina
great.
is awesome.
It's kind of
Feels
like
so good.
It's kind of like Alien Nation meets like Fez. Or like something else where like it's like a cube and it keeps twisting. It's the voxels are it's very like an extension of Resogun in a way. It's important to know because some people are confused. This is not Matterfall. Some people thought that this was a Matterfall being renamed. I talked to them off the record about Matterfall, so I have nothing I can share here. But they're two different games. And they're both in development. This particular game is the first self-published game from Housemarque, and it is not a PlayStation exclusive. So those are other things that it's starting on PlayStation, but they have the right to bring it anywhere they want. And I assume it'll be on everything eventually. So for Xbox fans specifically who've only gotten one Housemarque game ever, and for PC gamers who have never gotten a Housemarque game, I think that's a good sign for you guys.
Tim, what'd you play?
Finally got my hands on Ukulele.
Oh,
on PlayStation 4.
we didn't talk about this at all yet. Okay.
Yeah, and it's definitely exactly what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's a 3D Rare game, which granted was never really my thing back in the day because I was way more of a Mario dude, and the collecting stuff wasn't ever my nom de plume.
Yeah.
But playing through this, I was like, it's been so long since we've gotten this type of game that there's something novel about it enough where I'm like, I like these wacky ass characters of which there are a ton. Even in the demo I played, it's like you come across like 6 different characters. One's like Trouser Snake.
Who's this jacked up
Snake in some
motherfucker?
trousers. I'm just like, all right, cool. Like things like that. I'm like, all right, there's enough little crumbs here that I'm definitely sold on this. When it comes out, I'm definitely going to play it. The one biggest criticism I have of it is, well, the controls are great. I really like how it feels. I like that it's modern in the sense that it feels a lot faster, and it's not like games used to be where you have to like get all these different upgrades to be able to do your long jump and your flutter jump and like double and all that stuff. It's just you get them, you can just go and start moving and rolling around. Like I feel very much in control, and I know how to get my character exactly where I need him to go, which is good. But the criticism is the camera.
Oh yeah,
it's attached to the stick, which is good, but it does the thing that old 3D platformers used to do, where when you move the left stick to control your character, it also moves the camera. And I'm like, no,
let me
that.
set the camera where I want.
And I'm going to be really surprised if they don't change that, or at least give an option to turn that off when it comes out, because that can't be something that people are cool with.
Sure.
It's super weird and off-putting, and like to play games like Ratchet and Clank, which granted are way more modern than those other ones, it's still, people have done that. You know, we know what that feels like, so it shouldn't feel super archaic.
Sure.
Especially in a game that otherwise it doesn't. So overall, really excited for that. I think good things are going to come from it. The other thing, Crash Bandicoot, got to play both levels, beat it, 100%ed it.
Oh!
The demo that they had. And I have nothing but good things to say about the game. I mean,
how much does it feel like original Crash?
Perfect.
Because remember, the original Crash sucked.
Yeah. So here's
Am
the
I
thing.
running at the camera? Am I having hard jumps to make?
I mean, yes, not, and so far in this, we're not running out the camera.
Okay.
The demo didn't have that part, but the controls, they solved the problem that the first game had, which was now there's analog controls, which makes it infinitely better.
Yeah.
And we didn't see this in the demo, but we heard it from press releases and stuff that they changed the save system and the checkpoint system, which was a huge problem in Crash 1. We've only seen stuff from Crash 1. I'm really excited to see Crash 2 and 3 because that's when things get really good. And the fact that Crash 1 looks this awesome, not just visually, but as a package, and they're putting this much love and care into it. It's like, this is the game that I've been waiting for. This is actually, when I was saying Save the Bandicoot, this is what I wanted. Like, I don't believe they can make a good Crash 4, Wrath of Cortex and all the other ones notwithstanding. Like, I believe that they can make these games better and allow me to experience what those games used to be, which, again, a lot of people are like, oh, those games always sucked. It's like, all right, they're always as good as they were. I enjoy them a lot, and a lot of other people do. And
we're just giving you a hard time.
No, it's not just you. It's everybody.
Oh, the internet?
Oh, yeah.
Being mean?
But the thing is, like, it is the second most viewed trailer and most talked about thing on all the forums and shit, besides Death Stranding from PSX. And Death Stranding wasn't even at PSX. But that one, sorry, Last of Us. So besides those two, it's like, okay, cool. I'll take it. You know, like, people care. And
I'm excited to play it. It
I'm
looks
happy-
good. I hope it, and that's the thing for having never had I didn't have a PlayStation when Crash was happening. I got my PlayStation late in the game, right, shortly before PS2, and so I never had that connection like you do. So to come back and have a modernized take on that and have experience that alongside you, that'll be cool.
Yeah, and it's not modernized. Like the thing is, it feels right, which I think is a good thing because the last time Activision did a remaster of a franchise I love, it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, and I remember doing my first demo for that when I was with IGN, and I was just like, this is not right. I remember like it was the first time I was with the PR person. I was just like, it's like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, I don't think it's right. Why does this doesn't feel right? Why isn't the revert there? Like this, there's certain things like this doesn't make sense. Like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. They never fucking figured it out. They lied to me. But with this, it's like everything they're saying is like, look, we did this, this, and this, and I play it. I'm like, you did. You fucking care. So the music's right. It looks right. Everything about it, I'm just like, thank you. You're fucking nailing it so far. The animations are perfect, and he doesn't have a fucking stupid ass voice running around. He's not like, because you can imagine that's what modernizing it would be. Like, well, that's still there.
I know. I'm not making fun of it.
There is some stupid voices, but they're the stupid voices that we love.
They were supposed to be there.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Anyway, very stoked about that. Played Star Wars. That was great. Yeah, I've talked about everything else I've seen there.
Okay.
So now Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I'm going to say this is the second topic, Kev. Okay? Last Guardian review.
Last Guardian review. Got it. No, it's a fun show. Just leave it in. What do you care?
No. How much
Do you want to go more on about what we've been playing?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because you've been playing Batman, and I would love to talk more Batman with you without spoilers. Colin Moriarty, what do you think of Batman, the Telltale series?
It's great.
We got him.
I'm shocked about how good it is. Oh, I guess I'm not shocked. I thought The Walking Dead was really great too.
Sure.
I don't like this episodic approach per se, and so I get distracted when I'm like, well, I'll wait, and then I forget that they even exist. I mean, The Walking Dead season 3 was just announced, and I forgot about The Walking Dead season 2 because I was waiting for these episodes to come out. Same thing with Game of Thrones, which I would have probably been interested in playing. So there's the episodic approach clearly works from a financial standpoint and probably from a critical standpoint. It keeps it within people's minds for a long period of time. But for me particularly, it loses me. So I had actually mistakenly thought that the 5th episode was out. So I went and downloaded. I have a season pass. I went and downloaded it, and then I went and I talked to Greg. I'm like, oh, the 5th episode came out last week or something. And he's like, no, it comes out next week. And I'm like, oh, well, that fucking sucks. But I already downloaded it, and I was playing The Last Guardian, so and I wasn't really interested in it anymore after an hour or so. So these shiny objects were kind of distracting me, and so I was like, I'll just jump into this and get this over with because I know I have to play this and I'm sure I'll like it.
I know I have to play this.
And well, I mean, like I was like, it's one of those games where I'm like, I really should play it. It's not going to be that much of a time investment,
and not to mention you're a Batman guy.
I like Batman a lot. I mean, I'm not, I make fun of comic books a lot, tongue in cheek, but I really do like Batman. I like that universe. I like that world. I like those characters. And I was kind of astonished when I was showing it to, Erin was watching me play and she was asking a lot of questions. Who is this? And I'm like, I knew it's weird that to talk, and I don't want to say it in an authoritative way, but in a confident, like not sarcastic way about like, who's Vicky Vale? Who's like, and I'm blah, blah, blah. And knowing the answer, and then I asked you a question too specifically about. Well, I don't know if anyone even knows he's in the game, so I guess I shouldn't. Actually, he's in the first episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say Penguin's not a spoiler.
Oh, okay. So, I was like,
what
I had questions too about like, well, was Cobblepot? I don't remember Cobblepot ever being a friend of
Bruce Wayne
as a child. That's the arc, and you were like, well, and then you realize this is actually somewhat of a darker and
100%
stranger kind of take. So I'm in the 4th episode now. I was falling asleep last night, so I turned it off. Not because it's bad. As we said on Colin and Greg Live, the twist in that particular episode is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued to get back to it. I'm a little disappointed that I have to wait a week for episode 5, but I'll be anxious to get into that when the time comes. But I think it's really, really good, and I get lulled. I was telling you, I was getting so lulled at times into feeling like I was watching a television show or a movie that I actually forgot to press a button on the controller when a few times, like the choices, like the radial comes up and I'm just staring at the screen and I'm like, oh shit. And then like it turns red and the little ellipsis comes up as if Batman says nothing. I hate doing that. But I think it's a good sign for the game.
It's a classic Batman, though.
Yeah. There actually was one.
There
actually was one or two times where I was like, "Well, I don't like any of these choices."
Yeah.
And I also like how, and I think they probably do this in other games. I don't know Telltale well enough. Where square, circle, and X. Like in Mass Effect, typically it's like the Paragon shit's over here and the Renegade shit's over here, and they kind of mix it up in Batman. You don't really know specifically what his
Circle
response
isn't
is gonna-
always going to be negative. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. I'm a little. There's a few mechanics where I'm like, I really wish that the game was just fluid. Like I whenever I have to move Batman around, I don't like that. And I didn't like that in The Walking Dead either. I think the game should somewhat play itself for you, except for conversation choices and maybe quick time combat. So I don't like linking things together.
So
and
investigating crime scenes.
I'm like,
and
I
shit
don't know.
like that.
I mean, it's cool if they point all these things out, and then how do they connect? And
Yeah.
a little more traditional adventure game there. But it's very easily gonna be one of my favorite games of the year, I think. And it's nice to play a Batman story. And I really like that universe, and it's interesting. I thought the twist at the end of episode 3 was cool and surprising, and
I think that's
a little disappointing in a way, because I was kind of hoping that I was going somewhere with this person.
Yeah. No, that's what's interesting about it overall is the fact that I think every episode's ending has had a good twist to it. Like they're always Telltale usually really good every time at giving you a cliffhanger, making you want episode whatever to come out next. But even with Walking Dead, which I love and I consume right away, Batman I feel like is super appointment viewing, where it's like things come out and I'll get to it later. I'll let it stack up. Tales from the Borderlands, I just let stack up. And even once I realized I liked Tales from the Borderlands, I would then play them when I got to them. I was in no hurry. Whereas Batman, for sure, day one, night one, I go home and I play that because I want to know what's happening with that story. And it's awesome to see DC, who I feel like, even though they had the Rocksteady games always felt like an extension of the animated series. And spoilers for the Rocksteady games, with the exception of the death of the Joker, right at the end of City, it felt like, all right, this is a by the numbers Batman story. Nothing's getting out of hand here. And when Telltale ventured out into it, I think the way they end episode 1, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. But there's no way they'll stick to it. And then you start episode 2, you're like, oh fuck, this is canon. This isn't going to be the rug pulled out from under me. It was a cheap knockoff. No, this is their own story, and that's what's so exciting for me right now with comic book games, especially as you look to Marvel, who's like, all right, cool, Insomniac, here's your Spider-Man game and your Spider-Man universe, and go do whatever you want. This isn't attached to the movies. It isn't attached to the comics. It's yours. Make a story, make it cool. And that's what Telltale's so good at, to sort of see them get in there and really get their hands dirty with this. And again, full disclosure, I host that Telltale Batman show, but they don't pay me for it. So it's not like I'm bought off. Also, you're pretty clear for a long time, I'm sure, that I've liked Telltale games.
Do you really like Batman?
Yeah.
Are you telling me you like DC?
Hard to believe I like Telltale, Batman, and DC. I'm so excited to see what they're doing with it, and then to do that show actually and talk to them and about the ideas they have, and to go off the record and talk about maybe we do this. It's like, holy fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like the introduction specifically of a character in the 4th episode that I think will break the arc and eventually work into the 2nd season. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. And
well, what's interesting is that, and this is a deep nerd cut for you that I don't think you would know about, I'd have to tell you about afterwards, is I think that there's a second character introduced in that episode that I think is going to be a huge player in season 2, if they do season 2.
Cool. Well, I'm sure they will.
Probably. I'm sure this game's pretty much.
And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get it at the end of next year or something like that. So yeah, that was cool. And then I've been spending a lot of time with Letterquest Remastered on Vita, which was free, I think, on PS Plus last month. And so hopefully you guys are smart enough to take our advice and always go in there and just download, or mark them as downloaded so that you get them for free. It's a very simple. It was a phone game actually a couple of years ago, and it's just it's a role playing game, side scrolling role playing game where you make words with the letters that they're giving you. I think they give you 15 letters, and you have to make words. And the bigger the words are, and if they use Q or something like that, then you do more damage. Something about it. There's 120 stars, gold stars to get, and then 50 crystal stars. I think I'm at 98 gold stars.
What I dug about it
crystal stars. So I have
when I was playing it, what I dug about it was the fact that it didn't make me feel dumb. I can get through the levels, right? And I'm advancing, and then there is the added challenge of, all right, cool, you understand the mechanics. You've gotten through the level, sure. Come back and try to get the stars. I'm going to try to knock the challenges out.
And there are a lot of upgrades and stuff too, a lot of customization with your character, which I think is cool. You're basically making money, and the currency is pretty valuable. So you're not getting tens of thousands of whatever the unit is. You're getting 50 or 100 at a time, but you needed 1,500 to upgrade your health or something. And so there's a real grind there, which I appreciate as well. There's a lot of bang for the buck there, especially if you didn't pay for it. And hopefully many of you didn't, since it was free on Plus. And then I watched, I had downloaded it, but I had not gotten to it. Erin played Dear Esther, and so I watched her play it. And I never had seen the game before. This is the Chinese Rooms game. These are the guys that did Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. And not being a PC guy, I was very intrigued in reading about the history of this game and how it was actually a source demo that they then remade into a real game. And this was the game before they even did Amnesia. So it was cool to see a very the walking simulator, as it were, for the pejorative sense, the the interactive story, 3D story, like Vanishing Ethan Carter or something like that, like none of those would exist. Gone Home wouldn't exist without this game. And so it was cool to see it. And the story is very convoluted, and I like how it reminded me of Inside a little bit in the sense that you don't really know what it's about. I don't think they've ever really said what it's about, and so you can go on to Wikia or somewhere, and there's a bunch of fan theories about what that people's interpretations of it were, and I enjoy that as well, because the same with Inside, where I'm like, the thing about Inside, it's my favorite game of the year, is that I'm not even sure what I think it's about. That's what I love so much about it, especially the ending. I think it's very strange, but I have some ideas, and I'm more in tune with what was going on there than what was going on with the protagonist himself. And so in Dear Esther, there's a more literal story told through letters, and I thought it was a pretty cool experience. I think that's everything. I'm going to move on to Hitman next. Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian just aren't doing it for me. So there's just too many games to play, and so I think Hitman's going to be next, specifically because I really do feel like I don't have the data specifically, but I think more people have recommended me Hitman than anything else this year. And it's supposed to be like superb. So I'll see for myself what IO's been doing, but I've actually kind of had it on the radar since we were at GameStop Expo and talked to the guy from the studio.
Sure.
It sounds very interesting. It sounds very open-ended. Again, another episodic kind of approach, but they were very transparent about that from the beginning. So,
And they improved the other episodes as it went on too, based on feedback.
Which is cool. So I'm excited to... it's good that I waited.
How pissed off are you though? Because you waited, you missed the Gary Busey high value target mission. You can't kill Gary Busey.
Can't kill. I never wanted to kill Gary Busey.
We wanted to get him help.
I always wanted to ask him some questions, but
some help.
So this is unrelated to the topic, but I haven't talked to you about this yet. What do you think about all that PlayStation mobile stuff with Wild Arms and Arc the Lad, Parappa, Hot Shots Golf?
Hot Shots and Parappa are fine. Arc the Lad is a fine series. I put it in the same vein as as important as like Alundra or something like that, where it's like it's a B tier kind of PS1 series, but and elsewhere. But the real disappointment is that Wild Arms is going to mobile, and that the original MediaVision guys that made the original Wild Arms are working on this one. And I'm like, that's such a fucking disastrous, stupid move. A, because I don't think they're going to make any money on mobile with Wild Arms, and B, like I just. That's one of the Sony-owned franchises that I'm just a little confused. It hasn't really been dormant that long. I mean, there was a PSP remake, Alter F or whatever it was called, for original Wild Arms, and they made 5 Wild Arms games. So it's not like it's been dormant. But to hear the pedigree of the people that are making this specific one and then where they're sending it is very disappointing to me, because Wild Arms is a very special game to me, and I think a very special game to the PS1 catalog. And I think that they owed it to, and hopefully maybe we'll make some corrections, or maybe the intention is all along. And not necessarily Vita, because that's a pipe dream, but it should come to PS4. And I'm a little sad that they're not doing that. I think they're sending it out to die, as they do many things. So yeah, not thrilled. Arc the Lad, I don't have. I mean, I've played it, but I don't have a like some sort of heartfelt connection to it. So I don't care where the fuck they put it. They can put it on 3DS for all I care. But yeah, Wild Arms specifically, I didn't even talk about it on Colin Greg Live, because I'm like, people don't care about Wild Arms, and so I do, but I don't think it's really noteworthy to anyone else.
As long as we still get that Hot Shots Golf on PS4, I'm fine. Which was there, so I'm fine. It was
at
at PSX.
It was at PSX? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Next to Parappa.
It still has a temporary working title.
Loco Roco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all connected to Patapon.
There you go. There you go. The last thing that I've been playing is Final Fantasy 15. Still haven't beat it, for everybody.
How many hours in are you?
Asking me.
Ballpark?
Probably just about 10. So
Gotcha.
not too much since the last time.
You played 10 hours and almost beat it?
What?
Oh, you said
No.
I thought you said 10. Oh, 10 more hours? Is it,
What?
I thought you said 10. Oh.
Yeah. I didn't beat
He
it.
still hasn't beat it, is what he said.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you were getting close.
No. I'm far from beating it. I'm like chapter 7, I think. So I still got a ways to go. But the problem with it is I like it so much, and I'm now at a point that I don't feel any rush to beat it. Like, I wanted to play enough of it to be able to talk about on the show, but now knowing where you guys are at, that you guys aren't in any rush to beat it, so we're not going to have any like more substantial conversation anytime soon. I'm like,
Sure.
okay, cool. I'm going to enjoy this game. I've been moving, so there's been a lot of like moving parts, but I was like, I'm going to instead switch over to Last Guardian, because Last Guardian is another game that I've been waiting a very long time for, and I was like, all right, that's the game that I know I'm going to get over with and never have to touch again.
Sure.
But man, Final Fantasy 15 is so good. I love it so much. Everything about it is just what I needed and what I want, and I'm very much looking forward to the break, to being able to get back to it and beating it. I am very interested in how it all ties up. I want to know what the end is. I don't want anyone spoiling me at the end.
Noctis knocks boots.
The ending's an anime you have to watch separately.
That.
But it's funny that you're that far. I played the game for about a little more than 6 hours. I'm only on chapter 3.
The chapters can, but that's the thing about the game is like you can beat it in 13 hours, but it's like you're not playing it right then. It's like there's other people that have put 30 hours into it and they're behind me.
All I want to know, Colin, is have you fed that cat yet?
I fed the cat.
Good.
I fed the cat, but then the cat didn't want the food, and then I had to go talk to a chef to make food for the cat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why I did any of that, but it was the thing that I was supposed to do, and when there's a side quest, I have to do it.
Sure.
So that's why I think I hadn't gotten any further in it.
You're never going to beat this game if that's the case.
I don't really have a problem with the game itself. I still don't really know what's going on. But
just to be clear, I feel like you're putting a lot of emphasis on this. Oh, you have to watch a movie in the anime. They don't clear too much else up. Like you're not really missing out on too.
But
much.
I'm also seeing a lot of complaints that people like I'm not the because I was like you brought up Susan before, but other people I'm like, am I the only person that does? I'm not even trying to be facetious. Like I really don't know what's going on. I'm trying to pay attention to their crosstalk when they're in the car or a campsite or whatever, and then try to talk to the NPCs and everything. I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on still. You know, like it's a little disconcerting to me. I don't know if the anime of the movie picks it up, clears it up, but it seems like it's a common. I mean, they're patching story stuff in there because I think they realize that. But the game is good. I think it's very good in a lot of ways, as we talked about, especially like the deep RPG systems, like the experience system. I think it's really cool. It's compelling. I look forward to going to the inn or whatever to rack my experience up.
Yeah.
And I think that's neat. But these kinds of games for me require some sort of story. You know, that I can comprehend, and maybe I'm, a lot of people are saying I'm stupid or whatever, but I don't really understand it.
You're just doing all the side quests. I mean, there's definitely a story in there.
I'm sure there is.
What I've experienced so far, it's not like it's a mind-blowingly great story, but again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about like these stories they're just trying to get you from one town to another, and it's like I feel like this game does that. I'll agree that the game without the animated movie doesn't do the best job of explaining how the characters are related to each other, but I don't think that that's important or necessary. And the parts of it that are important are explained to you even through the game, just where I'm at, which is not that far. So I think you just got to keep going a little bit, and then eventually it does start to make as much sense as it has to.
It's still there on my console. I don't think I've played the last of it. I'd like to get through it, I just because I don't know. I don't remember the last Final Fantasy. I mean, well, that's not true. I didn't beat Final Fantasy 13, but I did play it for like 40 hours. I don't remember, but before that, I didn't. I actually got to the open part, and then I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. So that was kind of a waste of my time. Speaking of good Final Fantasy games, yeah. So, but other than that, like I beat 1 through 9, I think. So I don't think there's any exceptions in there. So it would be nice to be able to go back and beat it, get through it and see, be able to talk about it a little more authoritatively, but. I find their patching shit a little unsavory, and I find like the approach to that a little shitty too. So we talked about that on Colin Moriarty Live today as well, but I don't know that's the developer's fault. I think that's the publisher's fault. It seems to me the more that I read about it and the more I hear about it, I'm like, this game could have used probably 4 more months. I
don't know, man. I think it was good. I'm happy that it was.
I'm sure the core gameplay has probably been fine for a long time.
All the shit they're patching in does not matter, man. It doesn't matter at all. Like all the shit that they added from the Crown update or whatever, when it's like they took the random ass clips from the movies and put it in. It's like that makes shit more confusing. Like it doesn't help at all. So it's like whatever. I'm just happy I have it. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I cannot wait to get back to it.
It's very good.
And I'm happy that I got The Last Guardian out of the way as well.